Okay, everyone, welcome back to SAT Math. Today we'll be doing week 4, part 2, and today we'll be on rates, ratios, and proportions. Now, if you understand how to do rates, rates and proportions in the way that the question wants you to, meaning you match up the units and you find exactly what you're looking for, it shouldn't be too difficult. However, it can become easy to get confused on units and how to find the correct units. So for example, we have a density question, and density questions are pretty common because they line up with chemistry, and also it really tests your comprehension on what unit they want you to find. So we have this density here of kilograms per cubic meter, so kg over m cubed, and we also have the samples in the shape of a cube. Each edge has a length of 0.90 meters. So to the nearest whole number, what is kilograms? So we have meters, but we also have kg over meters cubed, meaning we have one edge, so we'll find just the volume, and that way we can get meters cubed. We can multiply the density by the meters cubed of the volume of the cube, and we'll find our answer to the nearest whole number, which is 588. So again, like I said, we have to match up the units, and we have to essentially cross out the m cubed because we only want kilograms. And we can do that by multiplying kg over m cubed times m cubed. Okay, this next question has, in a scale model of an office building, a length of 1 inch is equivalent to a length of 17 over 3 feet in an actual office building. If a length in the actual office building is x feet, which expression represents the corresponding length in inches in the model in terms of x? So when we have multiple choice, we have to look at our option choices, and we find 2 of them have 12 and 2 of them don't. So that 17 over 3 already represents that inch to feet equivalent. So we actually don't need to multiply by 12 to get the number of feet, because we're just matching up inches to feet. Now the 17 over 3 is already in feet, and x is already in feet, but that translates to 1 inch. So we only want the length in inches. So if that's confusing, I'll lay it out in the math. 1 inch is 17 over 3 feet, and we have x divided by 17 over 3. And that's because we're trying to cross out the feet and only have inches. So 17 over 3 feet, and x is also in feet, meaning we can also have 17 over 3 be feet over inches, and dividing that 17 over 3 would multiply, because when you do the opposite reciprocal of a fraction, we'll have inches over feet, and feet times feet, or feet times 1 over feet cross out, you'll be left with inches. That is represented by 3x over 17. This next question, the speed of a vehicle is increasing at a rate of 7.3 meters per second squared. What is this rate in miles per minute squared? So these units are completely different. So we have seconds squared, and we have, meters and miles. And we also have seconds squared and minutes squared. So we'll start off with our rate, 7.3 meters over second squared, and we'll have to multiply that. We're doing 3600 seconds squared over minute because it's used to multiply 60 seconds times 60 seconds times 60 seconds times 60 seconds in order to get that rate over 1 minute. And then also have this 1,609 meters over miles using the ratio they give us. And this way, we can cross out all these units and we'll actually get minutes on the bottom and miles on top, because dividing by 1 over miles will, do the opposite reciprocal, and you'll multiply by miles over 1. So this will happen. And that way we can round to the nearest tenth, which is 16.3. Okay, Jeremy deposited X dollars in his investment account in 2001, and his money doubled each year until he had $480 2005. Where's the value of X? So X is the amount of money he started with, and after 4 years, his money doubled 4 times. So we can just do 2 over 4 to get 16. 16x equals 480, and x equals 30. Now, if you do want to double check, which I recommend you would, it doesn't take too much time anyway, you can just multiply 30 times 2 4 times, and you'll end up with 480. Okay, this is one of the harder questions, because we have a ratio here for A over B, 6.7 equals 6.7, and A over BN equals 26.8. What is the value of n? So we have to find the same ratio that we can use in both equations, and that case is A over B. So we have to solve for A over B in at least one equation so we can substitute it in the other. Now, because we're looking for n, we should use the one without n to start with. That way A over B, is just 6.7 over 4. And then again, we can just separate that A over B from the A over Bn by doing A over B times 1 over n. And that way we can just substitute 6.7 over 4 for A over B. And then we can just flip everything to get n instead of 1 over n. So instead of 6.7 over 4, we'll do 4 over 6.7, and we'll turn that 26.8 into 1 over 26.8. That way we'll just divide 4 over 6.7, and then what you'll find is that you'll get 0.0625, which is also just 1 over 16. Okay, the density of a certain type of wood is 353 kilograms per cubic meter. The sample of this type of wood is the shape of a cube and has a mass of 345 kilograms. Again, we're finding in just meters, so we have to cube root that cubic meter. The way to do that is we have kg over m cubed to get the volume, which is just in meters cubed. And again, if you want the edge of a sample, you have to cube the volume. And once you do that, you'll get 0.99 meters. Okay, last question for today. A certain town has an area of 4.36 square miles. What is the area in square yards of this town? Okay, when you have square miles, 1 mile is equal to 1,760 yards. But 1 square mile means you have to square that. And that square applies to the 1,760 as well as the yards. So when you find the square yards of this town in total, you'll do the 4.36 miles squared times 1,760 yards squared, and you'll actually end up with 4.36 times 3,097,000, which will end up with 13,505,536 yards squared. Okay, so make sure to keep that in mind when you square a conversion rate, because you have something like miles squared. You do have to square the number of yards that you'll have to convert to, meaning you have to square that 1,760. Okay, again, that is it for today. All these questions are pulled directly from SAT College Board test banks. So these have been on SATs before, and all of these past lectures have also been from test banks. So if you guys have any questions on this, please leave questions on the comments below.